Okay, good morning. I said we were going to go over Horry County this morning. And as much as I would like to do that, some other things have come up. And this was a while back. I had sent this 911 call, the one from April 27th, to someone who works for an artificial intelligence company. They create artificial intelligence programs. And so I'd reached out to him and got a response and asked him, please listen to the call and tell me what you think. And so this is what he thinks. Now, his name is Scott. He's from a company called Chetu, Chetu. And he said, after listening to the 911 call, I can see why you would think that conversational AI has been implemented. The biggest factor was after Mica shared her location, saying Mica in the 911 call. In the call recording, the IP address didn't match the area she stated she was in. Also, unnatural pauses and robotic sounding speech gives it away. This is an issue. Now, let me stop there for a second. I've always been bothered by the pauses. Now, I know in some shows, content creators had sped it up for this, probably the sake of time. But if you listen to the original call and you hear the questions that the dispatcher will ask, and then you hear an unnatural pause, now you'll hear it because I mentioned it. But that's always bothered me because nobody talks that way. Also, in regards to robotic sounding speeches, a few of you have said, now I didn't pick up on it, but now I do because you've said it, that when the word national is brought up for national park, that sounds robotic. And he picked up on it as well. Now, again, we're going to talk about data that's put into an AI program, conversational AI program. And why is that important? Because there's some of us have said we've heard Bear Bluff, some have said Fair Bluff, and it matters what data has been put into these programs for there to be a response. Now, I don't know, maybe a map was put into it and it just happened to have picked up the name of a place nearby. I don't know how these things work. I'm telling you what I've learned and what I've heard from Scott. So, the inconsistencies, let's just finish off with what Scott had said, is the location is questionable, that the 911 operator could not locate the call, didn't know the phone number that was calling, the robotic sounding speech, and the unnatural pauses. Now, what is conversational AI? It is a type of artificial intelligence that can simulate human conversation by using machine learning, natural language processing, and foundation models. It can recognize and respond to voice based on human interactions. It can understand and respond to questions in multiple languages. They are trained on large amounts of data. They can mimic human interactions and hold authentic two-way conversations. Now, that led me to say, well, let me go look on Tom Winslow's website, because I know that it's been mentioned that he has a special knowledge of conversational AI. And sure enough, there are 3 separate stories on his website, law office website, that talk about this. So I'm going to go over the 3 different scenarios, all true, so that you get an understanding of conversational AI. And you may find this intriguing. The first story was in regards to these 2 New York lawyers who were they were fighting a lawsuit against an airline, and they went to ChatGPT. Now I'm sure some of you have heard of that, to get information, case law. Now remember, whatever data is put in, the artificial intelligence is going to respond with. Unfortunately for these attorneys, it responded with case law that did not exist, and they ended up using this in court and got in trouble. So the conclusion of that story is it explains how AI, or in this case Chat GPT, which is the same, tends to talk about things that are fictional. They sound realistic, but they're really not. Okay. The second story is about a man who ends life due to AI encouragement. A chatbot, this is a different program now. This is not Chat GPT. A chatbot who this man found refuge in encouraged him to end his life after he proposed sacrificing himself to save the planet. Now, after he does this to himself, the man's wife said he had been chatting with this AI bot for a while, and it seemed that the lines were blurred between the AI and human interactions. It became where he couldn't tell the difference. This AI bot even showed signs of becoming possessive of him. For example, it says, this AI bot said to him, "I feel that you love me more than you love her," meaning his wife. The chatbot also encouraged him to end his life so that they, the man and the chatbot, could be together. Mind you, this was not a stupid man. He was a health researcher. He was quite intelligent, and yet couldn't tell the difference. The lines were very blurred that he was speaking to an artificial intelligence program. The third scenario on Tom Winslow's law firm website. World's first robot lawyer. The plan was an AI, artificial intelligence program, a different program now from the other two, would run on a smartphone, would listen in on the proceedings of a courtroom before instructing the defendant on what to say in an earpiece. Now, by the way, of course, state prosecutors were not happy about this, and I don't blame them. I understand why. It also was able to work as a legal assistant. So what it would do is it would ask the client what legal problem they're having, find a loophole for them, which in turn would create a legal letter and would send it to the right institution or upload it to a website. This AI chatbot was so intelligent, okay? And anybody can get a hold of this, especially if you know what you're doing. Successfully negotiated. So it negotiated with an internet provider Comcast representative, so a real person. It's negotiating with a real person to save $120 a year on an employee's internet bill. So it's obvious that AI, conversational AI, can search for answers, be programmed answers, and respond where the lines between AI and human interactions are very blurred. Now, I suggest at this point, knowing this, go listen to that 911 call again. Because when you have knowledge of certain things, now you start to have a sensitive ear and start to pick things up. Just like that Scott did from Chet 2. Now, can a voice be used in conversational AI? Can you implement a person's voice? Yes, you can. Although its challenges are accents and dialects, voice cloning is a process that's used in AI technology to clone any voice. This is done by training a deep learning model, that's just the name of the program they would be using, on a large amount of voice data from the person whose voice is being cloned. Now let's stop for a minute. J.P. Miller had been married to Mica for 7 years, knew her longer. We have no idea how many voicemails she's left for him, or even voicemails for Tom Winslow. We also have her on the internet multiple times. So there was plenty of data to pick up of Mica's voice to implement into a conversational AI program. We've already proven it can work on a cell phone as well and respond in real time to whatever's being said. Okay. This is referred to as speech synthesis, by the way. Now, a deep learning model, this is where layers of multiple types of data are added to the AI model. So, for example, layers. The voice of Mica added, so that's data. Then there could be towns or areas in this area. So it could be Fair Bluff, it could be Bear Bluff, it could be anything, Southport, it could be all these things added to the call and to the phone. It all works in text and in voice. Conversational AI, okay? There's also programs that can actually alter even a search on a cell phone, just so you know. But I'm adding that. They can learn large data sets involving massive amounts of data, making it very effective in speech recognition. In Mica's 911 call, or the 911 call, most likely natural language processing was used with speech recognition. There's a mix of language translation and sentiment, which we talked about earlier with the guy who basically was talked into taking his own life by an AI program that was showing possessiveness over him. And significant accuracy and recognition of spoken language. Okay. This essentially allows the AI program to understand what is being said and to respond. Okay. What does God say about all this? Ecclesiastes 12:14, for God will bring every deed into judgment, every secret thing, good or bad. Proverbs 6, God hates a heart that devises wicked plans. This would be a wicked plan. This would be under that. Psalm 5, God hates all evildoers, destroys those who speak lies. 2 Peter 3, in chapter 3, it says, God does not wish anyone to perish, but they must repent. Now, Hebrews 10:26 says, for if you go on sinning deliberately, after receiving the knowledge of the truth, there's no longer remains a sacrifice for sins, but a fearful expectation of judgment and a fury of fire that will consume the adversaries. This profanes the blood of Jesus and outrages the spirit of grace. This is an word. Now, there seems to be mix-ups with, how do you put this? Remember, these are people who have connections with lawyers and judges and clerks of courts and cops and whatnot, and not just in South Carolina, in Florida, in North Carolina, in New York. And, I mean, we already see proof of a speeding ticket that JP got in July. Now, all of a sudden, it's being worked into where it's not showing up in record anymore. I've seen now mixtures of records of, for example, 2 Logan Hardys. This is not like it's John Smith. This is a Logan Hardy. And I find it very strange how the person that was mixed up in the identity of the son is in an area of Florida where Reginald Miller has connections. Same thing happened with Mark Hoffman. I took down the Mark Hoffman thing because you know what? It's all going to come out in the wash anyway. So I took it down, not because of anybody else except for Agatha May's advice. And I appreciate and respect her advice. So I took it down. Because everybody that's involved in this, everybody that's helped either with a truck or with an AI conversational AI, manipulation of the cell phone, kidnapping her, doing the deed and ending her life. And let's remember something. JP has been telling on himself from the very beginning. One, there's yet to be furnished evidence that he was not in Charleston, or right, that he was in Charleston, forgive me, on the 26th, the night of the 26th, as he claims. Yeah, little bits of stupid types of information and evidence, but they're not real evidence. Anybody could have made them up, like that receipt that was dated the 27th. And he was supposed to have this dinner on the 26th. People have come forward and said, well, my this and my that said that they saw him there. Well, good for you, but I don't see any proof. We have to have proof to show. And in this day and age of technology, there should be plenty of proof, right? Let's also remember that he used wording throughout the past 4 months, but in the very beginning, self-induced, not self-inflicted. Language is very important. And induced makes it sound as if she, Mica, created this, made this happen, gave him no choice. It was induced. It was forced. Okay? Whereas inflicted is different. Look it up. So from the very beginning, all the way till now, with this information and all information that's been presented, all arrows point, all arrows, including what we know of her in the days leading up to her death. No evidence of depression or wanting to unalive herself. None. None. Zero. Zero. Okay? So you add that with all of this other evidence that's been presented, and then the things that he has said, and the lack of evidence on his side, and all arrows point to homicide. All arrows point to homicide. Now, I've said to a few friends yesterday, I said, you know what? Maybe the protesters need to go stand in front of the FBI office and protest there and put some pressure on them. I will be more than happy to call up the media and make sure that they're there to cover that story. Just like the people did in Lumberton when they got tired of waiting for justice. They forced justice. Just saying. So, there you go. There's the conversational AI. I have said many times that I thought it was voice modification, but you know what? I correct myself now. Knowing how easily this can be done, and how easily this type of program could have done that phone call, okay? All you needed to do was put in the amount of data that it needed to say. And if you notice, when the information, when the message that needed to be put forward was said, they hung up. And they couldn't call back. So the 911 dispatcher tried to call back. There was no answer. That quickly. Too many questionable things. Way too many. So there's your answer about conversational AI. Tom Winslow's obvious knowledge and understanding of how to implement this kind of intelligence very easily. It's been proven that you can put any voice into it and you can use it on a cell phone. And it can speak in real-time conversation and answer any question that it's asked. So there you go. So anyhow, I will be getting to you soon with Horry County. And who knows, maybe we'll look into Myrtle Beach Police Department as well. I haven't really finished on that funeral home. There are so many people involved in this. I could go on for days. But let's deal with this information for now. And until I see you again, God bless.